what's going on.
Coach has the most puzzled look on his face. He has no clue what's happening. Coach, I would like to invite you to your Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. This is not from the CBC conference. This is not from the Green Local School District. These are the people that love you. These are the people that you changed the lives of over the year. These are the people that are here tonight. There is, however, someone who couldn't be here, and they asked me if I could start with reading a letter. Take summer gym. You don't want to have Mr. Williams for a teacher. Sound familiar? Yes. That was said so much to me in my 8th grade year. I feared gym class more than I feared having a swirl in the toilet. Running 6 minutes at the beginning of each class, learning to climb the rope, doing chin-ups, and failing the football written exam. While these are memories I have, there is so much more that I have been blessed with. Coach, you allowed me to be your track statistician my freshman year, developing my skills of organization, ability to multitask, and better my math skills when it came to adding times. I did struggle with that concept all through school. All these skills have helped me in a lot of various ways in my life, especially being a mom. You gave me a freshman, nobody, a chance to develop confidence in herself. It didn't matter if a person was an athlete or not, you took interest in people, in students. You invested time in students, making lifelong impressions. The messages you have taught stayed in many of our minds even after graduation. We are truly blessed. My blessing, however, did not end in high school. When I married Durr, I became your daughter-in-law and was able to see so much more. In the 25 plus years, I've been able to witness you live out your faith and continue to invest in others. From teaching students who had been removed from schools, trying to reach them both educationally and turn their lives around, going to the Clark County Jail to teach lessons of Promise Keepers, to have Bible studies in your home. You've continued to touch the lives even after you left education. You've never met a stranger. You're always bragging about your kids and now your grandchildren. Often when we are with you, you run into people that you had as a student or who you used to work with. You remember each person and something special about them, even after 20 or more years. That was not just in Ohio either. You remember running into Chris Pryor when we lived in Baton Rouge. Dirk and I married in 1984, and even to this day, I struggle with somehow to address you. I have so much respect for you, I couldn't imagine calling you anything else but Mr. Williams. Neil certainly was not appropriate. There are just certain people in our lives who, for the respect, never goes away and will always be Mr. I think back to the words of those students who told me to take summer gym. If I had listened to my peers, I never would have been able to run 6 minutes, climb that rope, do a single chin-up. I still have no idea what all the numbers on the football jerseys refer to, but at this point in my life, that's a lost cause. I am so glad I did not follow my peers. Dad, I am sorry Dirk and I could not be there. I am sure I can speak for him. Thank you for investing your time, knowledge, and wisdom in us. Diane Levin Smith, class of 1984. P.S. Look up in the bleachers and wave. Where is she at? Diane, come on down.
She's here.
She's here.
Okay, Todd, we need to speak about what brought us here today. You're gonna be. We started a Facebook page for a memorial for students that we had lost. Faculty that we had lost at Grant to keep track of everybody as we got older. And all of a sudden one day, someone had posted that Mr. Williams had passed away. We thought it was you. And needless to say, everybody went crazy. We were so brokenhearted and so beside ourselves. And not taking away from Mr. Williams that passed away, because we all felt bad for him too. But, oh my gosh, the joy that we felt when we found out that it wasn't you was unbelievable.
I felt the same.
I just could not stand the thought of you not knowing how much we loved you and how you have touched everybody's lives. And listening to the post that everybody put on Facebook about you, saying how much you had taught them about endurance and strength and going forward and always striving to do your best and knowing that even when you thought you had nothing left, you really did. And I talked to Todd and I said, we have got to do something for him while he's here. Because too many times you wait till somebody's gone and you can't tell them. And we wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that we love you and we cherish you. And you have touched our lives in ways that you had no idea you did. And there are so many people that have not only appeared here tonight, but have sent things for us to read to you. And we also, I put together a slideshow for you to show some memories of...
This is your life.
Yes. And everybody else's lives, so don't be shocked. Everybody, if you see pictures of you up here, you ran track across country, you're going to be in here. And I hope you guys all enjoy it. Yes.
I suppose you guys wonder why I called this meeting. I didn't.
We also have t-shirts made up for you. Yes. And we've got what's called Neil-isms on the back of them, where we had everybody write what their favorite sayings were that you said. And those are going to be on the back.
It's all downhill and it wins to your back. Shoot for a do. Anybody remember shooting for a do? Where are your white socks? This is not study hall. very much.
And those, what we're doing is we're selling those, and the proceeds are going to a Neil Williams scholarship that's going to be awarded to a track and cross country kid this year.
To college? You're kidding.
No.
That touches my heart.
runner knows it's nice to have a partner to train with. And I think right now, Coach, the best partner you can have is that lovely wife of yours. Your lovely wife would like to say a few words.
That may be dangerous.
If I touch it, I break it.
Thank you. Wow, this has been an emotional time.
I don't think it's all.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it
It's on the,
testing?
it's on the
Testing?
handle.
Okay.
Bottom light.
Okay, we're on now. It's been a really emotional roller coaster ever since Todd called me and Shelley and Kevin called me and wanted me to keep this a secret from Neil. And there were just numerous times. The secretary called me from Greenland High School, and we were in the car. And I had it's on the OnStar, and the voice came on, and she said, "This is the secretary from Raymond," and I shut her off. And she said, "What?
I can explain that because Bobby Price was supposed to write me a letter as a recommendation to become a pastor in the Church of God. And I thought it was him, the secretary of Bobby. And in the meantime, I forgot that Bobby Price had retired from
Anyway, he said, "What's the secretary from Raymond calling you for?" And I said, "Oh, that woman has called me a couple times. I don't know what she wants, and I'll have fun." So I just took it from there. But one time somebody called me, and he sleeps in the morning, and I was up, it was early, and I was afraid he would hear me on the phone, and went out in the garage and sat in the car and talked to him in the night. And it's just been things, one thing after another, that I've been trying to keep it from him. Actually, his deceased wife's sister, you were talking about the man who died, and we thought it was him. When she got the notification about the celebration, she thought he died. And she called his cell phone. I don't understand that. Anyway, she called his cell phone, and he was playing golf. And she also called her niece, and she was crying, and she was saying, "Neil has died." But her niece knew everything. And so she sued him, but she said, she called me right away, and she said that Linda had called, and I needed to find out, whether she called on the cell phone or she called, but she didn't call the house, she called itself. So I called someone who was golfing with him, and I caught him at the right time, and I said, "David Wheatley," and I said, "Get his cell phone and erase that call." And he just did it. He just went to him and said, "Neil, I need to look at your phone. It's an old one. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see how it works and everything. Give me your password." And I said, "Sure, I trust you here." And he got on the phone and erased the call. But you were all blessed to know Neil, and I'm blessed to know Neil, and he's my best friend. He's my buddy. He's my lover. He's my husband. I am blessed of all, the greatest of all. And I can tell you that day in, day out, I see a man of integrity. I saw this before I married him, but I see it after I married too. And I think that's the greatest thing of all. And I understand your allegiance to him, because I pay allegiance to him too every day. I love him so much. He's a greatest man in the whole world. And that's about all I got to say.
My cousin told me he needed a cell phone because he asked me if I could put the number in the cell phone. I don't know how to put numbers in the cell phone. So I said, no. He said, well, give it to me and I'll put my number so you can call me. So I thought that's what I wanted.
I just didn't want you to find out you were dead.
Our first speaker tonight is going to be one of your former track participants, Joe Lieberfeld.
This is not a meeting where you guys meet as alumni, like you come every year for alumni.
This is for you.
This is for you.
I thought maybe y'all met together and I just worked with you.
Wow. Well, everybody thought Coach was dead this summer. I was having lunch with him down in Florida. And he called me up and said, Joe, you said you live somewhere in Florida. He said, where do you live? And I said, in Ocala. He said, oh, I'm at my brother's house in Ocala. And I said, where at? He said, 60th Street. And I said, oh, my parents live on 60th Street. So we went to church the next morning. We had lunch. You guys were all mourning poor Coach's death. I was having lunch with him. And I believe or something like that.
Pretty good lunch.
Yep.
We're dead to you.
I had to print this big, Coach, because I'm getting older. I'm 42 now, and I can't see as well. So it took up more pages. So I'm going to start with a quote from Kim Riley. Sports writer David Herald in 1987. Said a track season without Neil Williams would be like the Emmy Awards without Meryl Streep. The order of ones of us know who Meryl Streep is. Stan without Ollie and Cagney without Lacey. They simply go together. After more than a decade in the role of Green High School boys track coach, Williams has announced the 1987 season will be his last. Citing a desire to spend more time with his family. I skipped a little bit. It says, the calm of the physical education's deep voice bellowed out instructions through the crisp spring air. It said, blessed with what he hates like dedication and love for his sport. Williams often demanding workouts either inspire or anger the athlete. Depends on the individual's temperament. But as he will always be the first to point out, they always improve. In 1987, I read this article as a junior. I was truly upset. My one mentor, who was my coach, would be leaving. I thought of these phrases, the ones that would drive me, I wouldn't hear anymore. No pain, no gain. Kick, pick it up. Pick up the pace. Second is like kissing your sister. Unfortunately, everybody thought my sister was kind of cute, and I got sick of hearing that. And by the way, Dawn said hello. She didn't make me see you. Drop and give me 10. This one's for Belle Fountain. This one's for Shawnee. This one's for Kent Ridge. My favorite, you knucklehead. I heard that a few times. And there is always tomorrow. This is my favorite. These little thoughts echoed in my mind and probably never went to urge. Little did I know that these words would stick with me and mean so much in my life. Who would think simple statements from a coach or teacher could lead us into adulthood? I've definitely had my shares of highs and lows in life, as most of you have. Little did I know this man who I met as a freshman in gym class would talk me into 4 years of torture, pain, and and sweat in his army called track and cross country. But the experience I got learning the words teamwork, dedication, the meaning of never giving up, and the courage to take on every challenge, knowing that just finishing made me a winner, would ever be so sweet. It helped make me the man I am today. I have so many fantastic memories of Neil as a student, athlete, and coach, now mentor who some 28 years later, long time coach, still visits with me and gives himself freely, has been a mentor through a divorce and become a lifelong friend. Neil has given so much to the community and school and always put the athletes and students first, not just in sports, but he expected it in class, he expected it in public, and as we represented the community and the school. He not only shaped our minds and our bodies, he taught us to be adults, to be responsible, and become the community that we are today. He made me want to give back to the school he gave to me. I used to jokingly tell him when I was a junior, someday I'll take your job. I did. I came back and coached here at Greenwood in Indian Valley from 99 to 2010. I coached track and cross country, just like him. I wanted to give back to the school and to the coach who gave so freely to me. I only hope that I follow his footsteps successfully and help shape minds and bodies of future students into respectable adults and maybe just another coach. Neil always knew what to say and when to say it, and how to get the best out of each of us. He used to tell me before the 4x400 relay, the last race of the night, as we were all draggy and tired and ready to go home, "Hey, just give me one more, Joe, and we'll call it a night. This is the race where men are made." And I always did. He taught me to want the baton last, be the leader, and not to fail. We can or never will be able to say enough to say thank you. Knowing Coach the way I do, he doesn't care if he gets recognition here. He'll say it's nice, but knowing him, he'll say my reports will come on another day in another place. And I understand him completely. But tonight, Coach, for your unending spirit, dedication, and courage, for teaching all of us who tries the hardest is not always first, but is admired and respected by those around him. And knowing that you have set the example by which others have strived to become great. If that doesn't say enough, let me say your voice may have been gone from the track, but not from the minds of the students and athletes whom you have meant so much to. We thank you for your years of service. I thank you, we all thank you. This one's for you, and so please stand.
I can still do them. Old coaches never die, they just lose their whistle. I still got my whistle.
Mr. Frank Jim Petro. Frank, Mr. Petro.
I was just telling Neil, I do 100 of them every morning. And I'm older than him. I'm Frank Jim Petro. I've worked with him for many years. And my feeling is that as a coach, he did more than just the coaching himself. He was not only a coach, he was a teacher. And his concern was all the young men he went to walk through the halls in high school. He was admired by many, he was respected by everyone. And he was a wonderful person, he was a team person. He was not a team in the sense of the track team or the basketball team, but he was a team organizer for the entire school. The education system here. I was sitting over there thinking, remember, Neil, when we had Fit Duty? There was a time when we used to have to feed all the kids in the school, 800 kids at the same time in one period. We would have 400 kids in here, and then in the middle of the period, those 400 would go over to the cafeteria, and the 400 over in the cafeteria would come over here. and try that. We call it snake pit. We call it pit duty. We're working in the snake pit. And while this was going on, Neil was doing his in class through this whole thing. And how we ever survived that was being on the video. He's a wonderful person. He's a wonderful person to teach with. And I'm very proud that I spent a long part of my year working with somebody as great as Neil. So thank you.
The teacher this young man was, and this man was a teacher.
Our next speaker is going to be Jason Bowser.
I'm going. Jason was one of my guys that helped me start out in young life. A few years back.
People talk about Mr. Williams about being a high school gym teacher. Well, I had him in Indian Valley. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
If I recall, you were happy about going to Indian Valley at the time. We love gym in Indian Valley. It's about playing. You play basketball, you play kickball. So we got a gym we're all happy about. We get in there, we're going to do chin-ups. We're going to run miles. We're going to learn how to play basketball, not just shoot the ball. And all of a sudden, it wasn't fun anymore. He felt like he was punished to go to Indian Valley, and he was taking it out on us. Many years later, I get to Greenland High School. And I knew this guy from Indian Valley, grown to respect him. So I did track and cross country. My freshman year of track was horrible. But he didn't care. It was about getting better. It wasn't about how good you were. It's about giving your best effort. I've only seen him angry 3 times. Every single time it was because people weren't giving their all. He would not accept people not giving their maximum ability. That wasn't good enough for him. He would push you. So he was my gym teacher, cross-country coach, track coach. He was also my pastor. He baptized me. First Christian Church. Baptized me in First Christian Church. Now, when I was in high school, I liked to wear black and wear black leather. Because I liked the color and I thought it looked cool. I still like the color, now I think it looks slimming. Now, I married my wife, who I started dating when I was in high school. And her parents wanted to meet me, and I thought, okay, I'm going to the black leather trench coat, black outfit. Yeah, they're not going to meet her. No, it's not going to happen. But they did. And I'm thinking, why would they let this beautiful woman, sweet girl, date somebody that looks like this? Because I would have chased out of my house. They knew Mr. Williams, and they talked to him ahead of time. And they said, he is okay. So if it wasn't for this man right here, I probably would be married to who I'm married to right now. Give that back to that in a second. We started Young Life, and I did some Bible studies with him. We did Bible studies at Greenland, and a couple of times he had me run the Bible study in Young Life. I'm like, are you serious? Do I look like I'm the kind of person who wants to take charge? I don't know if you know this, but I now run a juvenile detention center in a shelter facility in Indiana. Yeah, guess who's the one who really pushed me to do that kind of stuff? Work with kids. Absolutely. We all know that government and religion doesn't mix. Well, he didn't accept that. And he flat told the principal he didn't accept that. He would have his Bible on his desk and he did not care. So when people would tell me, hey, you can't talk to people about Jesus. Oh, yeah?
Mr. Williams did.
So I did it too. Now back to the woman I married. If it wasn't for this man, I wouldn't have dated her. Wouldn't have married her. If it wasn't for that, this little guy that came along 16 months ago wouldn't exist. He was the miracle baby. We really were supposed to have kids. But because of him, and because of the faith he taught me in God and believing in Jesus, doesn't mean I didn't get angry with him. Got angry several times, but he told me never quit, for I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthened me. Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed.
Yeah.
This man drove up to my head. He baptized me. I became a Christian because of him. I got married and had a child because of him. Mr. Williams, I cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for me and my family. Thank you.
He said, my birthday scripture, here it is, Coach's challenge. I'm still challenging you this day. Everybody should have a birthday scripture, whatever day you were born. I was born on April the 13th, so Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's my birthday scripture. So you got to get a birthday scripture and memorize it. Why? Because it'll tie you in with what you need to hang on to.
Our next speaker is Chip Hare.
You've grown up a little bit too, Chip.
I too had to make mine a little bit larger. Okay, I don't know how old the rest of them were. I'm out 51 years old, class of 79. And sometimes I got to get it in the right spot here even to read it. Now while I prepared some things, as I was talking with some folks up here, I thought about some other things. One, we have educators. We call them teachers, but many of them are truly educators. Then we have teachers. Teachers that teach us things that carry us through life. They go beyond just educating. They give more of themselves with a passion that some educators just don't have. Some are a job. And Mr. Williams was never a job. And he looked, as we've already heard today in Testament, looked at each individual and found something in them to drive a spark. One of the things that drove me to come was a love for a man that saw in me something that I couldn't even see in myself. And I'll share that here in a moment. Part of the rest of it, though, is to show my children. And I hope you get a chance to meet my children. They're sitting up there in front of the platform. That you do give back. And while I could have sat at home and maybe watched a race tonight because I like racing, you do come back and you give back to the people that gave to you. Okay? So a little history. I was never athletic at all. Looking at me now, one might wonder if I ever was. I think I should have worn black. Okay? My attire, interestingly, was jeans, flip-flops, and a t-shirt. And a couple of times I had to go down to the office because I had flip-flops on, and they would tell me that, you know, they don't have a strap in the back, so they don't meet the definition of sandals. So I, being a smart ass, pardon me, I would tie shoestrings around my ankle to my flip-flops and go ahead and move forward. Okay? So, you know, maybe most of mine was here and not in these legs. Okay? I tried Little League Baseball in 5th grade, and frankly, I stunk. In fact, in grade school, I was often the last one to be picked when it come time to picking teams in gym class. A little chubby. Then suddenly I grew between 8th grade and freshman year. Coach Williams was also my gym teacher in 1976 and saw in me something I could not. I had always been picked last. He encouraged me to try out for cross country, whatever the heck that was, and I did. I was never stellar. 15-minute 2-mile times, which eventually fell somewhere, I think, in the 14s. You'd probably tell me it never did, and maybe it didn't. Okay?
It did.
But through his encouragement, I grew self-confidence that I could do things that I thought I could not. I ran track in the spring and tried high jump and pole vault. And I remember him trying to teach me to pole vault. When I'm running down there, he used to always say, okay, you're going to go up on this side, you need to kick this leg up. And I always kicked this leg up, which he then gave me the nickname of being goofy-footed. And interestingly, skateboarding, water skiing, all these other things I've tried, always goofy-footed. Okay? When I was running, Coach also always said that I had one speed. One speed only. Minute 20 quarter-mile times, 2 to 250 half-mile times, 6-minute miles were probably my best, and 15-minute 2-mile times. Yep, one speed and one speed only. As a sophomore, I came back and we had this thing at that point, I don't know how long it continued to carry it on, where you had the 500-mile club. Well, I didn't make the 500-mile club. I ran 300 miles between freshman and sophomore years. And I came back in sophomore year and my heart was racing. And there were times out on the cross-country course, we'd always take our pulse, and my pulse would be running at 200. And Coach says it's not good. So I went off to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist, they make you run, and they've got all these big cameras at that point in time. The doctor ultimately said, you know, unless it's really, really important to you, or you're really, really good, I think you ought to lay off for a while. Didn't really know what was going on, and ultimately I did lay off, and probably far too long, because I've never really gone back. Okay? But while that ended my cross-country career, one thing that Neil did was give me courage, help build my own self-esteem. When you're someone who's getting picked last in gym class, you get down. But he gave me self-esteem, and in our gym classes and different conversations, I went on to believe that I could do it, that I could do things. And ultimately, Coach Williams will remember, I ended up being class of 79's president, both junior and senior year. So while my motivation may not have been in sports and track, the motivation that he taught me and the self-esteem gave me motivation to do other things. And I'd like to pass on today that, you know, I have now briefed generals of the Air Force all the way to 3-star generals, presidents of companies. But the humbleness also, and the gift that has been given to me by God is to be able to work with the top levels, but also still work with the folks down at the bottom. And as a computer architect, sometimes I have to deal with the end users, and sometimes I've got to deal with the people that are going to finance it. I think part of that courage to get up in front of those people stems from the things that you saw in me and gave me courage to believe in myself. Now some fun stuff. I remember the school bus rides to meets. And maybe you'll remember it.
Hey guys, I think the train's gone by.
How can you tell? It left its tracks. And Larry Cohen and Rich Walls, one or the other of them would do that. I was talking to Rich Walls on the way up here, and he told me to tell you hi. He told me about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe having had an hour conversation with you. And one of the other things that was kind of funny is now my kids are in school and going off to do things is the songs on the bus. And, you know, everything has to be a little bit more politically correct today. We sang 100 bottles of beer on the wall. Okay? All the way down to 1. Okay? When we were running, it was always downhill from here, winds at your back, and I actually was going to sit down here and try and do a push-up, but the man did 10. I'm only going to do 3, probably at the best. Okay, so I will do 3 here, but at 240 pounds, it's a little tougher for me. One of our classmates who happens to be in attendance, but doesn't necessarily like to talk much in front of the microphone. This man ran 34,000 miles, is that correct? Rode a bike, 34,000 miles in 6 years. Totally transforming his self-image, his body image.
You remember me? I don't think
Jim
so.
Moomall.
Moomall.
You should be feeling better now.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir.
You look good.
You look better. Jim was telling me during the warm-up that in gym class, Mr. Williams only wanted us to improve by 30 seconds from fall until spring.
Learn A.
And Jim, yeah, to get an A. Jim at that point in time ran his mile in a little over 10 minutes. He increased by a minute and a half, which was good for Jim. It was great for Jim. But you didn't have to be a sprinter. You didn't have to be the person out front. Coach drove each of us to be better.
Our next speaker is Miss Kathy Science.
Wow. That's a problem.
Well, my maiden name was Andrews, so some of you may know me still by the Science if you are in the Enid area. Some of you that might have gone to school with me knew me as Andrews. That's what Coach knew me as. I'm not really even sure if he knew my first name. It was always Andrews! Okay? I have a lot of stories that I could probably share just the same as you all do. I have one in particular. Kind of helped me to be how I am today. Not who, but how. We were having a track meet at Green. Significant track meet. It wasn't just one or two competing schools. I hear over the PA, Kathy Andrews, please report to the press box. Had no idea what I had done. I was a nerd. I was so shy. I was so backwards. I didn't want to be taking notice of anything. I go up to the press box. Coach is standing there. He says, Mr. Leininger's not going to be here today. He was our announcer. Need you to call. I said, what? What? I don't do that. Those of you that do know me, this is impossible for me to stand up in front of people and talk. I can talk, friendship conversation. Not a public speaker at all. So I was freaked out. I said, Coach, I can't do this. I said, I can't go over that PA and make the calls, tell the players where to go, when to go, how much time we have, things like that. And he said, I have faith in you can do it. And then as he was walking out, well, that's all he said. As he was walking out, he says, you got to do it. You don't have anybody else. I'm like, okay, thanks. So I knew he told me the time, every few minutes to make this call, first call, second call, third call, the whole gambit, how to make the announcements of who won what event and things of that nature. I was blessed to be the head stat that year. It was my senior year. I literally, for the next bit of time until the track meet started, I had no idea where I was getting this stuff from. No idea. The person coming across the PA, I had no idea how I sounded. I could have been this little squeaky, chipmunk sounding voice. As the track meet went on, also kind of helped because some of the visiting schools came up and said, who's making the announcement? I said, why? They said, she's got such a really sweet, friendly voice. We just wanted to tell her she's doing a really good job. Unbeknownst to me, I had no confidence. I had no idea that I was going to be able to do this. Coach did. I am a mother of 3 children. My baby is 21. My baby also just got finished running a 3.1 5K. I was never an athlete. He tried. Didn't happen. I'm still not. Do I love to run? I would love to. Am I good at it? But I know that doesn't matter. But my kids, they have learned from me what I've learned from Coach. You go out and give it your best. It doesn't matter if you come in first. You give your best. My youngest daughter, in her most recent 5K, for her age group, came in first. I still hate to speak in front of people. I love to do it on one behalf. I would pretty much then, as a scared little freshman, sophomore, junior, senior kid, or a 43-year-old female that cannot and will not do a push-up, I would do anything for this man. He has changed my life in so many ways. Far beyond school, far beyond coaching. Also, the thing that I do share with other people here, my Christian walk has never been the same. Every time that I find myself going off, I hear Neil, finish this race. Doesn't matter what obstacle, finish that race.
I have to say one thing. I look up Diane. I was blessed out of my son. I'm blessed there. That's the best blessing I've ever had. I'm blessed. I was blessed today because I made a great shot in golf. Nothing like this. But I was blessed July 30th, 29th, to get to marry Diane's daughter, Rebecca, in Texas, Houston, Texas. That's quite an honor to be married. I went from coaching to preaching.
Our next speaker is Craig Schroeds, and I believe Craig also came in from Florida.
This is quite the honor for you. It's the honor for us to be here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig Schroeds. I'm a graduate of 1982, class of '82, and it's truly an honor and a privilege for me to speak here tonight as we celebrate this very special ceremony in recognition of Coach Neil Williams with this prestigious induction into the Hall of Fame. As a member of the track and field during my sophomore through senior years at Greenon, I had the opportunity to experience what it was like to become part of a special tradition each year, and under the guidance of a man on a mission to be your banner. That was the mission every year. Coach, at the time, we may not have known your plan for us, but I know it did consist of a lot of laps and sprints, more than our fair share of push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, and more than once feeling that proverbial wind at our backs. The purpose of this, unbeknownst to us at the time, But clear to you was your plan of instilling in us the drive to succeed each time we strode out onto that track. I feel to this day that you always had an underlying motive to help us achieve our personal best and prepare us in our growth from young men and women, young boys and girls to young men and women. I will never forget the times that I spoke to you in your office, on the track, or casually in passing at school, how you always addressed me as Mr. Schroeds, or asked, "What can I do for you, Mr. Schroeds?" I always felt empowered by that greeting, along with a sense of genuine respect on your part every time I heard it, as if we were both adults, not just a student talking to his teacher and coach. You always took the time, no matter how busy you were at the moment, to give me your undivided attention. And I will forever be grateful to you for that, because it helped to instill in me that same quality I now strive for in each and every aspect of my life today. Coach, I'll have you know to this day, I still incorporate those beloved sit-ups, push-ups, and pull-ups into my fitness regimen, and I've embraced a healthy lifestyle since, thanks to you. It was an honor to be a team captain for you my senior year, and I hear myself whispering, "No pain, no gain," whenever I face challenges in my life that I need to overcome. Your sense of pride, dedication, hard work, and respect during those very important years of my life have helped transform me into the man I am today, and I can't begin to thank you enough. We may have come up short in our senior year in achieving a CBC championship, but ultimately we succeeded in winning the prize of integrity, self-respect, and pride to prepare us for our lives ahead because of your efforts. And I will say on one note, Coach, because of everything that you helped me to do in my lifetime, I had the opportunity to serve my country proud. I've had the opportunity for the last 13 years to serve others and care for others as a nurse, and I serve my Lord today. And that's the biggest thing for me. So with that said, Coach, I can't go without giving you one more for a band, all right?
And our next speaker is Daniel Ratliff.
Unbelievable. You remember how I recruited you?
Yes.
Remember that? Study hall would break up and 30,000 guys flee out of there and nobody would help me. We had to set up the chairs on the table to leave and put them up on top. One guy stayed. I looked at him, I said, "Danny Ratliff." I said, "If anybody's going to make a man and be a great runner, you got to do it. Because you're willing to help, Coach." I never say that.
Good start. I'm more adept at finishing a 4-mile relay than public speaking, I'm sorry. I see everybody up here doing push-ups. You know, I noticed this, and I don't want to be made ashamed, so I'm going to pass that up. And also, I already worked out previously this morning, so it's sad though. I'm sure Coach Williams can probably do more than me. You know he's 3 times older than me. Oh, that is awesome.
That's probably true.
Just a little short here. I just wanted I felt moved to be here. I saw the little blurb on Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's Coach Williams to honor him. And I felt moved that I had to be here for him because just he was a good father figure, a role model for me. He showed respect and kind of taking me from another option for me, loved, respect that I had before, and I really appreciate that. I still wish he had had me not run the mile in the regionals, stick to the half mile. Still thinking about that. That's about it. I just want to show some love to be here and say thank you.
Just Nick. I'm one of his oldest athletes. I think I better have a word. Coach Raymond Lloyd. Everybody knows Raymond Lloyd? That's right. Everybody knows him. He's from Schaefer Junior High School. I started at Schaefer Junior High School. Moved to Hayward and took Alan Turner's job. I won great big ugly championships for years because I had great big good looking athletes like this. Came to Greenon, we got stopped. Decided I wasn't a basketball coach, I went to cross country track, we won everything.
Well, I had Coach Williams at Schaefer Junior High School, and so I don't feel too bad because I looked at the Greenon night, you left Schaefer night, and you became a Greenon night. We were Schaefer night, and I was just a 7th grader, 12 years old back in 1965. Yeah, graduated from Springfield South in 1971, and this man took me aside. I wasn't like some of the other athletes explained. I felt like I was awkward, couldn't do anything, and I was always the last chosen. Neil looked me in the eye and said, "Lloyd, come here. I'm gonna make a basketball player out of you." And he says, "I want you to come after school, and I'm gonna teach you how to do the hanging jump shot." And so he pulled me aside, and we worked 2 or 3 nights, and from that time on, I was on my own, and he pushed me to become better and better and better. And so I appreciate you, Mr. Williams and Coach. He's always be my coach, always my #1 coach. I went on to play and started at Springfield South High School, went on to Muskingum and played for a couple of years. And I appreciate you, and I've been able to train other athletes, and some of them have been made All-State, and a couple of the athletes, all the things that you put in me. Matter of fact, I was so proud of Coach Williams and I have always had some contact at some point. He's come to preach at my church quite often in the last couple of years, and we appreciate him. And he celebrated when my daughter became All-American in track. He was just as proud as I was, and he's such an encouraging man. See, I knew him before Christ, but I saw Christ on him because my father was a preacher. I saw him as a preacher, and he was one whose voice was a familiar sound to me, but it was a more determined and more positive and optimistic voice that carried me through. It is a voice that I constantly hear even today. I appreciate you, Coach Williams, and I'll never forget you, and I bless God for what he's made you into, a man of God of integrity, and of power and strength and might. God bless you, my friend. I love you, man. He told me I was one of his favorite athletes, but I think he tells everybody else that too. And he told me I was that because I was the only one that learned the hanging jump shot. Is that right, Coach?
But he went on, he was about, maybe 6'2", maybe.
I'm 6'2".
But he ended up playing center in South High School.
Yeah.
He could jump so good and hang with that jump shot that nobody could handle at 6'7", 6'8".
That's right.
He was quite an athlete, so I'm quite proud of this young man. One other thing, his daughter was All-American in hurdles, and I'm sure it came, he wasn't saying the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, guys.
That's NCAA Division I. NCAA Division I.
Thank you.
I do believe this night could possibly go on for hours and hours. I know you guys didn't notice when you came in, we put together what should be a guest book. It's more of a memory book. A lot of people here tonight have written words, not just signed a name. In the back are several letters, people who could not be here today for whatever reason, but wanted to take part in it somehow. We are running a little short on time, but I thought I would read one letter that came to us from Afghanistan, someone who could not be here. They've asked in their email to me that no hoopla or nothing. This is a gunnery sergeant with the United States Marine Corps. So at least I'll recognize that. So bear with me. Let me get my hanky out now. Dear Coach Williams, first off, let me say congratulations on your special evening. I wish I could be there to help you celebrate and personally thank you for all you've done for me. However, returning to Ohio is not possible at this time. I'm currently on my second tour of duty with the military stationed in Afghanistan. But after I learned of this event, I wanted to at least write you this letter. It's funny, Coach, I've started this letter to you 1,000 times now, spanning the course of nearly 20 years. But I could never find the right words to properly say thank you. However, several months ago, an incident occurred over here that inspired the words I've wanted to say since I graduated Greenham long ago. So please bear with me. On a typical morning in the hallways between classes, I would usually find myself being picked on, teased, made fun of, and bullied. I was that fat kid. I had few friends as my family had just moved to the area. I wasn't athletic, I was just the fat kid. One day, some bigger kids were picking on me and seeing if I could even fit into a locker. That's when I first heard your voice. You yelled at the boys, and of course they took off. You patted me on the shoulders and asked if I was okay. I felt so relieved. Over the next week or so, you continued to go out of your way to say hi to me, ask how I was, etc. One day as school was letting out, you stopped me. You patted me on the belly and said, "Why don't you start running? Lose some of that weight." I told you it wouldn't stop me from being picked on. You simply smiled and said, "Maybe so, but at least you'll be faster than them." That's all I needed to hear, Coach. You sold me. I ran. I lost weight, just like you said. I even went out for the track team. I never won any medals or championship ribbons, but I kept running anyways. You always encouraged me and would scream across the field, "Don't stop, Chris. Keep going. Run, Chris, run. Don't quit." You were always so tough on us kids, but supportive and loving as well. As my speed increased, you always seemed so happy. It was such a reward hearing or seeing you clapping as I would cross the finish line. Oftentimes you never said anything, but your smile said it all. Short story, I got in shape. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. After graduation, I joined the Marine Corps, made a great career in the military, and yes, I kept running. I ran faster, I ran farther. When my lungs were aching, I could hear my old friend, Coach Williams, leading me on to just one more lap and one more mile. I'm sure many people there with you tonight are sharing stories of how you've helped them, and even some may be saying how you've changed their lives. Coach, you not only changed mine, you saved mine. Several months ago, our unit encountered hostile insurgents, and my vehicle was disabled. There was a ridge line nearly half a mile away. It was my only hope of cover. I ran as hard, as fast as I could. I was tired, scared, and under heavy fire. Then in the middle of a desert, thousands of miles from Greening, I heard you yelling, "Don't quit, Chris. Keep running." Your voice got me to that ridgeline, Coach. Thank you for helping save the life of that fat kid in the hallway. You've inspired, encouraged, and helped so many. Thank you for all you have done, Coach. You have been my hero, and now you are my guardian. God bless you, sir. All my deepest regards. It was simply signed, Chris. It's kind of funny how a few letters can touch people. It's kind of funny how a few people can get together and reminisce about old times. It's also funny how a simple whistle can scare the life out of a kid. You scared us. You terrorized us. And we kept coming back. I know over the course of, 10 or 12 years maybe you worked for the schools? Quite a few decades. I would almost guarantee my next check, at some point you sat at home looking at a pittance of a paycheck, going, why am I going in there doing this? Coach, this is why. We may not be a paycheck, but we thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you could be so kind as to step up here, sir.
Thank you for your love and your dedication for helping students achieve a sense of confidence and self-worth. Without you, our lives would not be the same. I want to give this to you tonight, and we'd like to, for you now to speak.
We love you guys. I love all of you. Sit down, man. I won't keep you long. I have so many things going through my mind. I have a favorite thing. I don't know why this is coming from my mind. I have a favorite thing I like to do in the elevator. I want you to try it sometime. It embarrasses my wife. You know how people come in the elevator and all their heads down? I'll look and I'll just really quickly say, I suppose you people wonder why I called this meeting. It breaks all the tension. I don't know how you pulled this off, but I am so thankful you did. Desi and Annie Rose, are they here, either one of them? Hello, Jackson. I remember them making a statement a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that they'd love to rename the track out there Neil Williams Track, and I thought that was a great idea, but I wouldn't be pushing that because it's not about the track, it's about the people I got to work with. And I was privileged as a coach to have good people. Woody Hayes made a statement, you can hang it on your hat. Mr. Robinson, I see you up there. I see so many. But Woody Hayes says, good people Good kids come from good people. You were blessed with good parents. You were kids. You were kids. I look at you and I think, these guys are all old. What happened? And I think, I can't be that old. I guess I am. But I just turned 74. I still run. I still do push-ups. I do 3 sets of 25 push-ups. I don't know why, because I just do. I don't do chins anymore. I do curls because I have a chin bar. I still run down the road. I'm blessed. One of my favorite Psalms, Mr. Lloyd, I'll go preach it a little bit. One of my favorite Psalms, 103, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I guess that's the way I feel. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all is within me. Bless his holy name. And forget not all his benefits, who forgives all my iniquities, who heals all my diseases, who redeems my life from destruction, who crowns me with loving kindness and tender mercies. And watch this. He satisfies my mouth with good things and renews my youth like the eagles. I feel renewed tonight because all these young people, you are young people to me. And bless me. Bless me. My wife and I come up with a saying. Come up here, please. We've come up with a saying. Of course, she's a great singer. She could sing to you. She could sing Amazing Grace like a canary. But anyway, you don't lose your joy because you get old. You get old because you lose your joy. And thanks to all you people, I'm never going to lose my joy because I'm going to remember this forever. And thanks to my wife. And to you guys. And to you.
Absolutely.
I knew something was wrong. She just didn't say. I invite you all to Raymond Lloyd's Church. You'll have me preach here one of these days again. El Bethel Temple over on Clifton Avenue. At 10:30. 10:30. He's there every Sunday. But anyway, I got people from church here. I got people from all over here. I got people in my men's class. I got my brother and my sister over there. They got to stand up. He's much younger than I am. He's my older brother. One of them, he's an older brother. But I also got people from church here. This is where I am ordained. I have to say I'm ordained at Word of Promise Church as a pastor in Lancaster. This is Mr. Dave Gilbert. I got people all over the state. Sandy went preaching. Out in campground. You ever preach in campground? That's where I started. Anyway, this brings back memories because I remember many times I ran miles in here. You ever remember to run miles in here, guys? How many laps did it take to make a mile in here? 2 days. I think it was 20 or maybe it was 60. But I know one thing. I love you all. I don't know how we work this out. I see my careless daughter and son-in-law, Bear, Tammy, and Keith. I was going to get it. And my 2 sons. So we give them a hand because that's. When I start introducing people, I leave people out. I love you all, and I thank you for honoring me. I don't deserve it. I just want you to live for Jesus. That's my favorite thing. Just live for Jesus. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I want. I love you.
Real quick, what we're going to try to do is everybody that was a track person, all the students, everybody who had Mr. Williams as a teacher, we're going to have you come down here on the floor with Mr. Williams. Nikki's going to stand up here on the stage, and we're going to get a group picture of all the students with Mr. Williams. So everybody